Have you ever found yourself thinking at the end of a long day, man, I wish I had a way that I can make some extra cash right now? Well, same here. Back when I was working my annoying job, evenings were the only time that I had to myself. It was after the kids went to bed and the house finally calmed down. Well, if that sounds like your life, then you're gonna love this, because I found 10 awesome remote jobs that are perfect for the nighttime. And each one is a little different from anything that you've seen before on YouTube. So here's the plan. I'm going to walk you through each job, share what each one involves, how much you can make from it, and then give you my score on the money meter to help you decide if it's worth your time or not. Whether you're trying to catch up on bills, save for a vacation, or just free up some time for your family, these are practical, flexible, and very doable. But here is the catch. These opportunities, they tend to go fast, so don't sit back for too long. Be sure to pay close attention and listen for the one that fits your life and then go for it. I'm here to help you make it happen, so let's dive in and see how you can turn your nights into something productive and profitable. Now, it's hard to go through life feeling like no one understands you, and my Aunt Casey, she was one of those people, but she always had this weird thing about her. She was accident prone. She was driving down the highway at about 70 miles per hour when a big white SUV came out of nowhere and cut her off. She slammed on her brakes, but it wasn't in time, and she ended up rear-ending the back of that car. But the impact caused her car to lift up slightly, leaving just enough space for the car behind her to slide right underneath. Now, she told me that she didn't remember much after that, but when my uncle and I arrived onto the scene, it was like something out of a movie. Her car was literally standing up on its front end, surrounded by about 10 other cars. And somehow she walked away with just a few bumps and bruises. Once the first responders got her out of her car and we made it to the hospital, we called her lawyer to figure out what needed to be done. The accident wasn't her fault, but the situation was complicated. She ended up talking to an intake specialist, or someone who took down all of the details and made sure that the lawyer had everything that they would need. Now, that intake specialist, they were calm, they were empathetic, and it made my aunt feel okay about the possibility of having to go to court. And that is what you would be doing at the Rothenberg Law Firm as an intake specialist. You'd work between the client and the lawyer, helping gather facts and ensuring that everything ran smoothly. It's the job that helps people out of tough spots, just like the one that my aunt was in. Now, since accidents happen like at any time, the schedule is pretty flexible, including night shifts and weekends. The pay is around $47,000 per year, and the position itself includes full health, dental, and vision insurance. So if you have some type of customer service experience, that would definitely be a plus. Now, I'm going to give this job a 7 out of 10. So why a 7? Well, while the pay is good and the flexibility is great, these situations can be pretty intense at times. So you'll need to be able to stay calm under the pressure, especially when dealing with tough cases. But if you're ready for that, this could be a pretty rewarding opportunity for you. But this next job is something pretty special. So if you love music and you enjoy helping people, this might be a perfect fit for you. Now, it's May of 2013, and my wife and I were just about a month or so into being married, and we decided to do some spring cleaning, and she did something that I wasn't expecting. Now, when I clean, I usually listen to podcasts, audiobooks, whatever, because I really like the idea of learning something while I'm getting things done. But this time, things went a little differently. While we were gathering all of the cleaning supplies, I grabbed my phone to queue up an audiobook, but then out of nowhere, some 90s R&B started blasting at full volume. Now, at first, it was a little jarring. I wasn't used to cleaning to her soundtrack, but soon enough, I found myself singing along because I loved the old hits that she loved. But that day, I realized something important. Music can be incredibly therapeutic. And while I still love podcasts, there's something special about the way that music can literally lift your mood. Now imagine taking that feeling and using it to help others with their mental health or emotional well-being. And that's exactly what you would be doing as a music therapist at the Lentil Music Therapy Company. So as a music therapist, you'd schedule 30 to 90-minute virtual sessions providing therapy through music. The pay ranges from about $20 to $30 per hour, which can add up to about a $62,000 a year income if you did it full time. Now, the most interesting part about this is that they need you during what they call peak hours, which would be 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the US time zones. I'm going to give this job an 8 out of 10 because, first of all, it's really cool. The pay is solid and it's remote, and it's something that you can do in the evening. So if you love music and you want to make a real difference, this could be a perfect fit. Now, back in 2017, I was just a blogger, creating creating videos was nowhere even close to being on my radar. In fact, I didn't even own a webcam at the time. I mean, blogging was working, it was paying some bills, and I didn't really see a reason to stop doing it. So back then, I would sit back at my desk, cranking out blog post after blog post, and honestly, video creation, I totally felt was unnecessary. But then one day, I took a blogging course, and one tip, it really changed everything for me. They suggested adding videos to blog posts so that they can rank higher in Google, meaning that they were more on the first page. They suggested adding videos to our blog posts if we wanted more people to see them. So I started adding videos, and my website started showing up on the first page of Google as well, more than it had any time in the past. But there was one big problem. So remember that those were not my videos that I was creating. I just found them online and plopped them onto my blog posts. But these videos were causing people to leave my blog. Whatever the person in the video told them to do, that's what they went out and did. And that's when I decided that I needed to make my own videos so that I could tell people what I wanted them to do after reading my content. And to be honest, this was a game changer. To my surprise, those videos started getting views much faster than my blog posts had ever done. You see, when I was making blog posts, it would take anywhere from 3 to 4 months to gain any type of significant amount of views. But my YouTube videos, they were pulling in 10 and sometimes 100 times the amount of views within days. And that's when the light bulb went off and I decided to focus on video. And to be honest, switching to YouTube completely transformed my life. I went from being like a very shy blogger to having viral videos like this one that got over 800,000 views and generated over $15,000 in revenue and still makes money today. But that's not even the best part. Creating YouTube videos, it opened the doors to something called affiliate marketing. And eventually it led me to being able to quit my job in late 2018. But here is the best part. The opportunity on YouTube is just as great today as it was back then. The earning potential is unreal. So for example, here is another video that generated over $19,000 within a few months. Just one video. So if you are ready to start your own YouTube journey online and you want some help with it, be sure to go check out the premium community that's linked below. I'll show you my exact process that I use to create videos that have made me money. You can ask questions and get the help that you need for your channel. I'm giving YouTube a solid 9 out of 10 on the money meter. The potential is really incredible, but I think getting in front of a camera can be daunting for some people. But the good news is faceless YouTube videos, they work pretty well as well if you know how to do them the right way. So don't hold back, just get started. Now, what if I told you that you could work part-time playing Grand Theft Auto? Sounds pretty crazy, right? Well, back in 2003, I'm at Louisiana State University in good old Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And back then, my goal in life, it was simple: to become an engineer, land a steady job, and to have a safe, consistent career. But here's the thing, I hated college, like really, really bad. Sure, I loved the partying and the friends and everything, but sitting in class, yeah, I couldn't stand it. I actually spent much more time skipping lectures and going home to play Madden and listening to sports talk radio all the time when I should have been studying. I remember at one point, I got so good at playing Madden, the football game, that I was ranked like in the top 10 players in the world online. I remember winning tournaments, crushing anybody who thought that they could beat me with Michael Vick or Donovan McNabb. And I remember thinking, how cool would it be if I could make money doing this, just playing video games? The idea was exciting, but I couldn't shake this really weird fear. Was gaming going to be a stable career? Could I really make it long term? Well, fast forward a few years and platforms like YouTube and Twitch changed everything. Suddenly people were making serious money playing video games online. And the dream that I had back then when I was in college, it didn't seem so impossible anymore. Now I make a living online and it's pretty wild when you think about it. And if you're someone who loves gaming, then working at Rockstar Games as a game tester might be the ticket for you to do something similar. Game testers over at Rockstar earn upwards of $88,000 a year with a $5,000 bonus and profit sharing. Now, to thrive in this role, you'll need strong communication skills, the ability to solve problems, and flexibility at crunch times when they need intensive testing done. Now, while that job is mostly remote, you will have to travel occasionally to their headquarters every now and then. Now, I'm going to give this job a solid 7 out of 10. It's fun, it pays well, but the travel requirements may not be for everyone, especially if you have a family. But still, if you love gaming and you want to break into the industry, this could be a perfect opportunity for you. Now, what if I told you that you can make money passively without having to sell a thing? All you would need is your phone and a little spare time. But back then, my life wasn't really mine anymore because I was a husband, I had a wife, we were talking about the possibility of having kids. There was a lot at stake and I needed to get this right as a man. And I came to the pretty sad conclusion that if I wanted to make some extra money to support a family, I was probably gonna have to get a second job. But the thought of spending twice as much time away from home, it was really terrifying for me, because what's the point of having a family if you're never around to see them? But then one day I stumbled on a YouTube video from some guy who was called the Lazy Stoner, and he was claiming that he was making tens of thousands of dollars doing something online called referral marketing. And then that's when it clicked. This guy was pretty much what he called himself, a lazy stoner. I could definitely figure out what it is that he's doing with a lot less effort, especially since I'm not a lazy stoner. It seems a little crazy, but you fast forward about 3 years, and at that point I was handing in my resignation to a $60,000 a year job because I was making way more with referral marketing. In fact, it had become so successful that it became a waste of time to go into work. You see, you'd be doing a form of that with World Changers Entertainment. So here's how it works. You'd be creating detailed Amazon product reviews. These are just videos that you can shoot on your phone that take about 1 or 2 minutes of your time. And you would just showcase the products that you already own within your house. Just think of it this way. If it's on Amazon and you have it, you can make a video on it. So for products that are under $500, you can earn up to $1 per video. Now remember, these are just 1 to 2 minute videos. But for higher ticket items that are like $10,000 or more, you could earn $10 per video. And if you can make videos in other languages, then you'd end up getting paid even more. And get this, people with criminal records are actually encouraged to apply, which is pretty cool. Now, I'm going to give this job a 5 out of 10 because while it's easy to do and it only requires making these short 1 to 2 minute videos, the pay isn't great, but you could potentially earn more by strategically choosing certain products and posting videos independently outside of the job and just use the job as a way to get some experience. Now, on the other hand, what if I told you that you can earn nearly $50,000 doing something that you are already doing every single day? Now, back in 2020, my son Benji and I were sitting down on the couch watching a show called Curious George. Now, this is a very innocent cartoon. It's the kind of cartoon that you can watch without you worrying that something crazy is going to show up. Now, I'll admit it, English has never really been my favorite subject in school. And in fact, you can say that I probably hated English class for the most part because of all of these weird grammar rules and whatever. It just drove me nuts. So there we were watching Curious George, and in this episode, George was at a train station learning simple words and numbers. But of course, George is a monkey, right? So he struggled. He was simply just copying what he had seen humans do, and because of that, his letters ended up being backwards and the spelling was way off. Now, Curious George, it's a kid's show, so naturally they're gonna fix it at the end, but for that moment, I was kind of worried, because what if my son thought that this was actually how words were spelled? And what if he started using them in that way and started sounding uneducated to other people? Yeah, I know, parent worries, but trying to be an attentive dad that I was trying to be, I told him, that's not how you spell that word, but just give it a second because they'll correct it eventually. And sure enough, the show fixed it. And I realized that in that moment, I was teaching him English. I was showing him what was right and what was wrong. And then it hit me. I was more qualified to teach English than I thought. And that's the value that you would bring and provide as an online ESL teacher with Now Speak English Online. They need people to teach English to students in places like Indonesia, South Korea, and Taiwan. So if you speak English, you're already equipped to help someone learn it. Now, the job pays up to $23 per hour with contract work requiring at least around 20 hours per week. Now, here's what they are looking for specifically. They want teachers with a neutral North American English accent who are bubbly and outgoing and great with kids, obviously. They would prefer US citizens for this role, but it's not 100% required because if you know English and you know how to teach it, then you might as well go ahead and apply. I'll give this one a 6 out of 10 on the money meter. And why 6 out of 10? Well, you do need an ESL certification, and the pay can vary. Remember, it's up to $23 per hour. So it's not always guaranteed that you would get that top rate. But if you're looking for a fulfilling part-time job with a flexible schedule, and you love helping kids and you love being around them, then this could be the perfect job for you. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you consider yourself being good at solving puzzles, staying organized, and just being friendly? I mean, come on, be honest. Well, back in 2018, it was my first Monday since I had handed in my resignation to leave my old 9-to-5 job, and my focus was to run my YouTube channel full time. Now, back then, I was the kind of person that would do whatever seemed urgent for my business at that moment. There was literally no organization, like none. And eventually, that lack of organization, it caught up with me. I had a ton of half-done projects and nothing completed. So for about 4 whole months, I was trying to run my business with no clear direction, and it wasn't going well. I wasn't using the extra time that I had not having to work a 9-to-5 effectively at all. And it got to the point to where I was terrified that I would lose so much money that I would have to go back and get another office job just months after I had just quit. But then that's when I realized something. Even though I didn't have a boss anymore, I needed to act like my own. I had to hold myself accountable. Once I started doing those things, everything changed. My income stabilized. I was able to continue working for myself. And for 6 years, I stayed decently organized and focused and was able to make a big difference in my work. And that's exactly the kind of organization that you would need as a scheduling manager over at Pressure Clean Tech. Now, this role pays $18 per hour and is a contract position. All you would need is a good internet connection and a phone connection. And this job is extremely flexible. All you would need to do is just be available to answer inbound calls during business hours. Now, I'm going to give this job a 6 out of 10. Why? Well, because as long as you've got your phone with you, you can get paid, which is a good thing. You just need to be a creative problem solver and a good communicator to schedule all of those jobs that people would be calling you to make sure it fits into the schedule for the cleaners. Now, what if I told you that this next job lets you get paid by helping other people spend more time with their family? Well, back in early 2018, I'm sitting at my desk at work and I just hit publish on a brand spanking new YouTube video. But little did I know that this one video would change the entire course of the rest of my life. When I first started my business, I insisted on doing everything myself. I mean, why pay someone when you can do it yourself for free, right? Well, every dollar that I earned, it stayed in my pocket. I didn't use it for anything else. At least that's what I thought. Now, that same video that I had just posted was the one I was talking about a few minutes ago that had over 800,000 views, which is pretty cool, right? But on YouTube, when a video performs well, you need to follow it up with a similar video as quickly as you can. But the problem was, editing videos took me forever. That first video took me over 6 hours. 6 hours of just cutting and arranging and packaging the footage and doing all of that fun stuff to make sure that the video actually delivered value. So I started to put that next video together, and I had to do everything. I had to brainstorm the idea, write the script, shooting it, reshooting it because I had messed up. I had to edit it, and all in terms of the editing and writing the script and all of that stuff, it ended up taking like 20 hours just to make that one video. And I'm going to tell you, that took a toll on me, okay? I was still working full time at a job, and now I was spending even more time away from the family just trying to put this next video together, which is not what I really wanted. And then I couldn't shake this really weird nagging feeling that I had that what if all of this effort that I was putting into this one video was for nothing? And then, yeah, the worst happened. After that first video had gotten over 800,000 views, my next video got 88 views. Yeah, 88 total views. Look, I was crushed, and I knew I couldn't keep up this pace if I wanted to chase this YouTube dream that I had. And that's when I decided to take some of the money that I had earned from that 800,000 view video and to hire an editor. And that, my friend, was a game changer for me, because suddenly my production time was cut in half and I could create more videos faster. But here's the best part. While the editor worked on the video, I had time to work on what really mattered, whether it was spending time with my family or trying to grow the business. Now, the time that I had gained was invaluable because it showed me the true value of outsourcing and getting someone else to do it if you have the means to do so. And you will be doing something similar by helping out business owners as a virtual administrative assistant over at Inbox Done. But don't worry, you don't need any, fancy video editing skills like the story I just told you, but your role would be just to manage an email box, helping clients stay organized so that they can focus on what matters, their families, and growing up their businesses. Now, this job pays $17 per hour, and you'd work about 10 to 20 hours per week. Now, one cool thing about Inbox Done is that they hire globally, which means you can live anywhere in the world and you can get this job. You just need to be fluent in written English because, after all, you can't be sending client emails full of spelling errors, right? Now, I'm going to give this job a solid 8 out of 10 because it's a great part-time gig that doesn't require a ton of experience. Now, while the pay could be higher, the experience that you gain from it can help you to branch out and hopefully start your own business doing the same thing, and then you can cut out the middleman that is Inbox Done. Now, let me ask you a question. How would you like to help someone fulfill a lifelong dream? Well, one time I was flying from Los Angeles to New Orleans and everything was smooth until I had a layover in Chicago. And that's when things really got interesting. Now, as an only child, I've always had this mentality of having to do everything on my own. I mean, I don't need help. It's just me against the world. So as I'm walking off the plane, I hear an announcement that nobody who flies planes wants to hear, is that all flights have been grounded because of ice. I mean, I was in Chicago, right? But it didn't even seem that cold outside, so it didn't make much sense to me. But regardless, suddenly I was stuck in Chicago for the entire night. So now I had to figure out how to get a flight for the next day. I needed to find somewhere to get something to eat and book a place to stay for the night. And the thing was, if I didn't figure this out, I was going to be stuck in the airport all night long. Now, through a lot of heartache, I was able to finally find a hotel, get some food, and reschedule my flight. But let me tell you, it was a pretty stressful experience. But after going through all of that, you know what would have been really amazing? Having someone on my side to help me get out of that jam. And that's exactly what you will be doing over as a client care agent over at Colette Travel Service. Your main job would be to answer calls from clients who are traveling around the world, helping them to find accommodations, book experiences, and solve problems as they arise in their travels. You would be like a little mini travel agent, always there to make sure that their journey around the world is smooth. The starting pay is around $17 per hour, and you get to work from home. So I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10 on the money meter. It's pretty cool that you'll be able to make some money problem solving for other people who are traveling the world. Plus, you'll be able to make some pretty good connections if you start talking to these travelers pretty consistently. It's not like the most perfect job in the world because the pay could be higher, but it is convenient. You get to work from home, and that's pretty perfect for a lot of people. Now, let me ask you this question. Do you think that earning $3,500 per week would change your life? Well, check this out. Earlier this year in January, I was sitting at my desk watching YouTube videos and I stumbled across this concept of faceless YouTube channels. Now, these faceless YouTube channels are channels where you do not need to appear on camera at all to succeed with them. But to be honest, I thought it was total nonsense. Faceless channels, they just don't work. At least that's what I thought. So just for fun, I decided to create my own faceless YouTube channel to prove that it was totally bogus. And what I found on YouTube trying to help people create these things was countless people claiming that all you needed to do was just press a button, use AI to make the video, and then suddenly you'd be making tons of money. And not surprisingly, those videos are not even close to being accurate. But here's the thing, when done right, faceless YouTube channels can actually do and perform very well if you have a good team helping you to put everything together. But the idea of putting together this awesome team to produce a video can be intimidating. Remember, I'm the kind of person that likes to do everything themselves, but this time I had to go out and hire people on every aspect of creating a channel. I hired a thumbnail designer, a script writer, a voiceover artist, and I even had to go out and find an editor for the video. So when I posted the first couple of videos, it did pretty well. Over 10,000 views right out the gate. So faceless YouTube channels, they actually can work if you do them correctly. Now, of all of the things that you need to create that faceless video, one of the most critical parts of it is the script writing position. Script writers need to learn how to craft effective stories that resonate with viewers and to keep them watching longer. But here's the real cool part about it. The pay for being a script writer can be incredible. Now, when you're first starting out, you might need to do a cheaper gig here or there, but as you build your reputation and you offer something unique, you can charge anywhere from $500 to $1,000 per script. Now, the best part about doing the script writing is that you're going to be your own boss. Most gigs won't take you days to complete. They'll really only take you just a few hours, meaning that you can stack multiple gigs and multiple jobs and you can make more money. I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10 because entrepreneurship is going to almost always be a win, and it's tough to get started at first, but once you get things figured out, you can set your own schedule and have the potential to earn way more than a traditional 9-to-5 job. Now, earlier in this video, you might have noticed that a few of these options only paid around $50,000 to $60,000 a year, but you don't have to settle for jobs like that. There are plenty that pay over $100,000 per year, and I have a nice list of them right here. So go check out that video, and remember, I believe in you, and it's about time that you believe in yourself. Take care.